What's happening, guys? I'm just on the way to the gym. As you can see, it's icy as hell right now. It's like mid-November, but the temperature is hitting a little bit different here in Finland. So it's a bit tricky with the icy weather because you have, on the one hand, you can run with spikes, right? But I feel even when you run on spikes, it's almost worse than asphalt. Yeah, so you have the cold air that makes your heart rate higher because of the breathing, but that's not so much an issue. It's mainly the impact on the muscles with the spikes. So for easy running, it's okay, and you can choose some loops like that. But like if you do want to do some more aerobic running and I kind of want to hit the pace ranges as well, then yeah, either I go on a treadmill, that's what we're doing today, or I go on the track. So I look forward to that tomorrow. They'll be hitting the 10 times 400 on a track. So yeah, this winter I feel like it's going to be probably the last winter where I have to kind of grind it through. I have this gut feeling next year a lot of things will change, also financially. So I could do like a training camp in the winter, for example, to get out and run and bike outside. It makes a big difference because mentally it's pretty challenging part of the year right now. First of all, I'm doing 99% of my training alone, like a lot of you guys as well, triathlon if you have a coach and stuff. But that's one, but the second one is then you do it all indoors basically. So even the run where you normally still got outside, do your loops, that is maybe reduced to maybe 1 time a week or something. And then the cycling completely falls away, of course. You can do an easy spin 1 hour, that kind of is possible with the cold and with spikes, but that's not really training per se. So you do it all indoors, you swim indoors, you bike indoors, and you run indoors. So that definitely does something to your brain, that's for sure. So I kind of know, okay, this winter I'm gonna grit it through and kind of like push through one last winter like this and keep going for next season. It's a bit after lunchtime now, 2 p.m. something, and I definitely feel a little bit knackered. I had like the quality swim this morning, 5.4k, that's one thing, the kilometers, but what you put into those kilometers is more important. And there I really juiced up the program a little bit, so we did the 20 times 50 again, all of them hitting like 32 seconds consistently, but the effort for the cardio was way smoother. And if there wasn't like a hurry in the stroke, really like strong quality strokes. Fixed something there as well, like I got the finger pedals there from Magic 5. They really did something great to my stroke because I had a bike accident on the left shoulder. So something weird was sometimes happening there. I could feel there was something not quite balanced compared to the right side. So that kind of fixed that. So really happy with that. Although it's just an aerobic run, you can see I'm wearing the carbon shoes here, the Hokas. I stopped wearing them for a little bit, of course only in racing I had them, but because they're a 5mm drop and I normally do all my training in 9 to 11mm, so that's a huge difference. I felt like my calves and structures got really messed up before going to quality right away with them, but I still have the feeling either those or the Alpha Flies will be my race shoe. You see a lot of people performing really well with this now in Ironman, but I think there's something to your cadence, like it really keeps your cadence up even when you're fatigued, and that's of course something for a full Ironman that's super important. But yeah, January comes the new Nike Alpha Fly, definitely gonna check that one out, the third one. And the first one didn't work for me, first Alpha Fly was too unstable for me at least, but then I tested the second one, Alpha Fly 2 recently, and they did something to the front of the shoe, the mid plate there, and that's really, they stabilized it a lot, so I think it could still work for me. I really have to try a bit, but also, I mean, performance is one, the other one is then injury risk. So if you always train in 9 to 11mm drop, which is kind of a bit safer for the Achilles and less load for the calves, and then you go to a 5mm shoe, that's of course a little bit of a shock. So of course, if you have 10 of those Hoka carbon shoes lying around, you just train with them all the time, it's no problem, you can get adjusted to it. But anything that kind of reduces risk of injury, so having kind of a constant rate of like the same range of drop of the shoe that you always have, I think that's a big part of like staying injury free. So I have to play around a bit, we see how it is today, but they do feel stable, amazing and bouncy. So not gonna drag you through the same warm-up routine as usual, but you know, the glutes and all that activation, calves. 45-minute run, nothing crazy. 5-minute easy warm-up, just whatever is easy. 5:30 pace, something like that. 5-minute pace, depending. And then nothing crazy. 150 heart rate, but the lower side for sure. So like maybe 425 pace, 420 pace. Calculating in that your heart rate will drift a little bit with the heat. As you can see, there's like no fan, no nothing going on. Just with the water with a sodium in though, 400 milligrams of sodium. So there will always be some sweat loss, especially later. We are kicking off with 500 watt intervals again. So I need to be energy conserving as much as I can. They feel really bouncy. You can already tell that, yeah, they are good. But I just gotta get myself a bit used to those. Like one more in them, but that means you need at least 4 race days. You need 2 or 3 pairs, and then a fresh pair for race day. So it's, yeah, it's an investment, but super important to, yeah, not have any surprises. Also have the long sections with it. You know, if you get faster from shoe, I think, yeah, the energy has to come from somewhere, some muscle structure, let's say. So I don't know, I don't want to have any surprises in a marathon, and like after 20k something happens to my hamstrings, let's say, or my calves. So yeah, I don't want any of that. So next year should be pretty exciting. So there's the whole Ironman Pro series, of course, that most of you guys have seen. If not, it's basically like, as a new company came on the market a few years ago, called the PTO, Professional Triathlete organization, and they basically forced the brand of Ironman to adapt and get better. So now they're also delivering like a pro series. Instead, before it was always for the pros from Ironman, always individual events, you could randomly choose it. But like in other sports, it's going to be now the case that it's going to be a series, which is super exciting. So that series, basically you need 3 full Ironmans and 2 70.3s to be valued. And yeah, the point system doesn't matter the details. Yeah, but the first full Ironman of that is in Texas. That's end of April. And before that is also Oceanside 70.3. That's close to LA. So what I will do, 99% sure. Only depends on the last finances and one more homestay. That's the only reason. So I will for sure focus on Ironman Texas mainly. But yeah, you know how it is. If you didn't do a triathlon before, it's kind of awkward before your first race, especially if you want to perform really well. So I won a race once before. Europe, there's no races at that point yet. April, so you have to fly kind of overseas. And yeah, so there is Oceanside 7.3. It's like a half distance Ironman. That is early April, close to LA. So there I already found a homestay, a super nice couple, passionate triathletes in their 50s, I would say. So they kind of gonna take shelter for me and show me around. But yeah, most likely it's gonna be a month away in the States, also alone. So if any of you guys are out there in Oceanside or even Texas, give me a shout out. We can do some easy training before, just chat, meet for coffee. And after that, a few days after Oceanside, I will fly to Houston from there, and then Houston is Ironman Texas. So for Texas, Houston, I still need a homestay. If any of you guys live in the area, know someone, I would be happy for like 2.5 weeks. I know it's quite a burden, but yeah, I'm going to be very self-sufficient, probably get a rental car as well. And yeah, if any of you guys are in that area, know someone that would offer a homestay for me, please reach out. It would be very helpful, because the month in the States, coming from Europe at this stage with hotels and stuff, they're just financially tricky, right? So the warm-up is done. Now we're at the 4:24 pace. See what happens to heart rate. Maybe I go a bit up in pace, because the shoes do help a lot. I can already tell it's a lot easier. Less load with the carbon shoes, of course. Yeah, treadmill training. I heard that can be also really good for efficiency, something new, right? But and of course less load on the structures. But the downside is, especially if you do it a lot, like I said, it's gonna be mentally mostly challenging. But you have a nice goal ahead early this season, like first time ever for me doing early Ironman. So there will be all the Ironman prep, will be indoors. Basically changed something with my easy day, which was yesterday, because I mean, physiology wise, I would say I wasn't sure. That's why I did it yesterday. If you space out the sessions as much as you can, like 3 hours between, you know, it's kind of good, right? More rest for the body, but you literally have no life, right? So, yeah, it's basically session recover, and then you finish by 8 p.m. or something, and then your day is over. So, and between the sessions, of course, you kind of eat, have a sleep. Sleep also changed something. Got inspired by the Kenyans, because I always have half an hour nap, but I thought when I listen to them, the real runners, they do up to 3 hours sleeps. Of course, they have 2 sessions a day. That's different, but still up my sleep game. So every day I'm now doing 1 hour nap, but I often wake up after 45 minutes, which is fine. But when fatigue stacks up, and it will probably be an hour. But yeah, I have to make everything worth as much as possible. It's definitely hard to, you know, do nothing else. I mean, I do the editing, do some video editing work. Also have there a little gig coming up at the university here soon. That will give some cash as well. But yeah, mostly it's just me, like now. All you guys are here, but so fancy. What is funny now, the last month when I kicked off with a few more videos, there was kind of the biggest dollar a month on YouTube. And I showed here how much it was. I think $116. And anyways, that's what I'm gonna do in the future anyways. I don't give a crap about money and income, which I see a lot of pros right now, especially the ones that kind of grew up through the challenge, and then I suddenly get a lot of fame in the triathlon community and cash, and you can just tell with the performances and how they talk and stuff, they're getting a little bit confused, which, yeah, you never have money on your bank account and then suddenly you have shit ton there. That is confusing. So, yeah, I'm just happy that I learned this experience already. That really what I want to come to is that I'm going to reinvest basically every cent I make immediately back into it, which, for example, this money that I'll get from YouTube, thanks to you guys watching, I'll reinvest that into a wireless microphone, because right now I'm not sure how good the sound is. Yeah, and everything else with prize money from racing, reinvest it all, right? Reinvesting it into especially aerodynamic testing. That's of course a big one, and I will do something already this year aerodynamic wise. You gotta improve as well. The watts don't matter, only just as much you have to become better CDA wise, otherwise you're just behind. But of course, unless you go on a velodrome and track frequently, you're always a bit guessing. But I do what the finance give, and I have some tricks that I will use and show you in another video as well once the stuff comes. Yeah, I think if you're not driven by money, is something that's really important. And I think only one athlete that has been coming up and only had 3-year journey to get from Mr. Nobody to now the greatest in the sport with their amazing performances is Magnus Dittoff, the Danish guy, fantastic athlete and guy, person, and he basically did that. He doesn't give a shit about money, and he invested everything behind the curtain, didn't share it of course, but he did a ridiculous amount of aerodynamic testing. So, and that's part of the reason why this CDA is probably 1.9 something. As a big guy, but it's just a guess, I don't know. But yeah, my CDA right now, last time measured velodrome was 2 years ago, it was 2.3. So in pro standards, it's not very good. It's still okay. I'm a bigger guy, that's always going to be a factor. But still, I do think there's a lot of stuff we can do. And I have 3 things planned that fit with my budget right now. I'm still gonna help bring that CDA down. But again, I don't know. I'm not certain unless you measure, you don't know. But I'm pretty sure it will be a lot faster. All next year, I talked about racing. And I think one thing I'm gonna keep for the future, and that's always where I've been happiest and also performing best, is to always have intrinsic motivation. So very fact, data driven and not so much result. Because let's say for example swimming wise, I now get into the front pack. Yeah, that's easy to get contentment into your swim, so it's very easy to get content, and that's something I never want to do. So no matter if I'm first or last, always focus on my journey and my numbers and get them up. And what basically was the goal of this whole chapter, to see how far I can physically push it. I know I talked about Hawaii in 5 years, and that is this objective thing, but that's not in my control per se, right? But especially right now, every day, and maybe in your day as well, in control is like how well can you train, how well can you recover. So those things, they matter. So the first race is going to be April Oceanside, as I said, 99% sure. I'm going to make it work. And there, first is going to be, I think, the most competitive 70.3 each year was. So the first race of the season. It's in America, live coverage often. So very interesting. But I think this year it's going to be absolute bananas in terms of like first Ironman Pro Series. But I'm not kidding, I think there's going to be 60, 80, if they allow, maybe even 100 pros on the start line. So imagine you're at the beach, running in with 100 pros, and like 600 meters in, there's one buoy where everybody wants to turn. I think the only realistic way to get into this is to say you have to expect a bloody nose, a kick in the gut, kick against the head, those kind of things, like real nasty, just because of crowded, not because people are mean. I'm sure some are, but you have to expect it to be beat up physically. And I think if you go very rational into this, like for example, okay, I'm gonna get beat up, but even if I'm underwater for like a minute, which is not gonna be the case, I can survive for 2 minutes underwater. So even a kick, the only thing that's probably dangerous is if I get a kick against the throat, that might do it to me, or nose up of course. But otherwise, you know, we're gonna survive. Rationalize any kind of doubts you have. So just going hard, basically treat it as a swim bike race for me, to be honest, because in the run, even if I improve a lot and get it to like 335 average, 330 let's say, but the hilly course, so that's definitely not guaranteed. Who knows what? He's still going to be a long way off from the first guy, right? First guy is going to run 109, so at least 5-6 minutes up the road in the run. So I'm not going to compete for the win, but I want to again focus on my journey, my progress. So if I'm in the swim, in the bike, that's kind of my hope, that by that point I'm in really good shape, and well, we'll see, only the result of the race shows that, right? Like to be in the mix in the front with a swim, you know, like in a front pack, it's going to be a fight, as I said. So people that are not prepared to have a fight, they're not going to do well. So it's going to be pretty brutal. And it's not swimmability, right? It's really the first K probably is going to be very nasty. So yeah, I expect that. And yeah, I have a background in martial arts, so I know how it feels to get beaten up a little bit. But on the bike side, same. I mean, I hope that I can kind of be in there. Definitely not in the front, the first guy yet. But let's see. So just excited for that. Just an objective test. Might go well, might go horrible. But all I can do is prepare to the best of my ability, you know. Got the run in, just the easy 10k, bit over 10k, something like that. Yeah, heart rate was stable. Good session in. I'm gonna smash the 500 watt intervals. I'm still at the 30 seconds because I had a week a bit easier, so I want to get into this 30 seconds first. So 3 to 4 sets, the 30s, 10 times. Get that one in, and then next week maybe I start with 1 minute of 500. Let's see how it goes. Bit of a different, more steady format today with more talking and running. If you guys enjoyed it, you can let me know. It's a bit the Sam Sulek style, but something different. Yeah, I mean, for all you guys that supported me on the PTO Triathlon Instagram account, there was like a vote for like newcomer best content, something like that. And I was in there, which is kind of cool to be on the radar, better on the radar than under the radar. But then round one, I was already out of it. There was a lot of people that were more established and a bit more known in the pro world at this point, which is totally fine. But really, I think you see it as one of the signs of the universe kind of just giving me a lift like through this winter, like small things. It's not about the influencer thing, it's more like, okay, you're on the radar from the organization because you're always in your bubble here training on your own, right? It's not really like, doesn't feel like it's a pro per se stage or anything like that. It's not fancy at all, right? Just me. Also with the content, those guys, some of them, they invest like 50k a year to get the content out there. So, and I invest literally zero. Well, I will invest 160 for that wireless microphone, as I said. But yeah, it's just me. It's me editing. The thumbnail you see, it's me. And the filming is me. And the editing is also me. So unless my wife helps out, and that of course makes the quality a lot nicer and easier to watch. I get that. So if she doesn't work and can help, she's going to be doing that. But enough for me today. I see you for the 400. See ya.